What is going on, everybody? Nasdorachi coming back at you again today with another video for Dragon Ball Legends, and what we are going to be talking about, hopefully relatively quickly here, is going to be the new Z-Power system, fully explained, as well as some details about Zenkai, and a huge elephant in the room for this game as well. Not necessarily in a negative way, but there are some big things on the horizon, you guys, and shit just went off the rails in this game with this update last night. So I'm seeing on social media that many players are waking up in a state of confusion over the stars on their characters, and units that were, 5-star now appear to be 7 stars, and the red stars, and what's going on, and Zenkai, and all this and that, and the other. So I decided to throw this together today, and we're going to hop in and explain the system to you in detail, so after this you will know exactly what is going on with the game. Now, we're not talking about co-op, we're not talking about guilds, we're not talking about some of the extra stuff they added. That is all great, pretty high quality content from my experience so far, and I'm definitely excited for that. But the real deal of the game, of the whole system and how we play the game moving forward, is in this new Z-Power system and the associated Zenkai system. So I did take this from the in-game news, but we are going to go over it here, and let me just size this up right so it lines up with the camera there. So this is the chart that is going to tell us the before and after, the effects of basically the fundamental changes to the Z-Power system. So we're going to look at the before category first, which everyone should be familiar with. Before, once you got 100 Z-Power, you unlock the character. Once you got to 200, they'd be 1 star, their stats would go up 5%. 400, 2 stars, stats another 5%. 3 stars, they acquire their first Z ability upgrade. Then 4 stars, stats up, and you can see the associated value of the Z-Power as you're pulling them. So an old 5-star unit would be 2400 Z-Power, and that would get you the next, or the third upgrade to their Z ability. Now, what they've done now after the update is basically lowered the tiers for Z-Power all the way back. They've just rolled it back and added 7 additional stars to each character. So forget everything that you thought you knew before about 7-star characters and maxing out your units. The new max, the new norm, is 14 stars. That's going to be 7 yellow stars and 7 red stars that then overlap the yellow stars. That's going to be a 14-star character. And as you can see, after the update, you still get the character after 100. You still get 1 star and 2 stars at 2 and 400 respectively with the same upgrades. 700, still at 3 stars, same upgrade there, and as well 1400, same upgrade there. This is where things start to get different, and where many of you may have noticed that your character box looks completely unfamiliar than the last time you looked at it yesterday before you went to bed. So at 1900 now, this is a new arbitrary tier that they picked out that was nothing before. That is now the new 5 stars, where you get stats up to 2%. You now get that instead of getting your Z ability upgrade. That was the 5-star tier before. Now they've made 5 stars less, less Z-Power to get to, and then added more tiers in. So at 6 stars, you will now get the Z ability upgrade. So what was 5 stars before is now equivalent to 6 stars. And after that is where things get really crazy, because at 3000, that's the old cutoff. That's the new cutoff, sorry, where 3000 is now 7 stars. You get another status upgrade, and the character, if available, can be Zenkai Awakened, like Goku. We're going to go over him in a second, just briefly also. But so 3000 is the new 7 stars. So any of your units that you previously had, floating in limbo above 5 stars, where they had, more than this 3000 Z-Power, those on your character box are now going to be 7-star units, and you're going to get a nice little status upgrade. Moving past that is where the 14 stars come in, the 7 additional stars, and these are huge for the game, you guys. I cannot stress this enough. These are literally just impacting the game from the foundations of the game all the way up to the very top, you guys. So Before you'd get 6 stars at 5,000, that's going to now be your 9th star. And you'll see that each time you get a red star, you're getting 3, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 16%, and then you add in these ones right here that you didn't get before, that's 20%. So like extra stats just for getting these units now to these new star plateau that they've set up. So when you see the overlapping red star, that's what it means. And then similarly to the same way it was before, with the old 7 star would be 999 getting the unit all the way up to max. You will do that now. You'll be at the 14th star, and that's when you'll get the final Z ability upgrade. So if you had units sitting in your box like the old red Trunks or the old red Super Saiyan Vegeta, and they were, 999 Z power fully 7 starred, those units are now automatically 14 star units. And they're going to have all these new associated stat buffs attached to them that they did not have before, which instantly is going to make them more competitive with even characters like Super Vegito. I mean, I don't have his stats pulled up, but we have something else to show you here. So hopefully you're pretty confident in what this new star system means. Again, they just took the same amount of 999 Z power, and instead of it being 7 stars, they've now doubled it to 14, added more effects to plateau on your way to get there. It's the same exact system, just more divisions and more stuff happening to the character as you get these 7 additional stars. And then everything previously was rolled back to a maximum of 3,000 Z power. That's where the old 7-star cutoff is now, which is the limit to Zenkai Awakening, which again, we're going to talk about that in 1 second. So again, if you have any comments, questions about how this works, you're still not completely sure, feel free to again comment down below. I'll try and answer you, but it's fairly straightforward. Again, you guys, don't make it more complicated than it is. Just dividing the same amount of math into more plateaus with more stat buffs. So how does this wildly change the game? Well, let's bring up a comparison here of an old 2-star Super Vegito, and they're both the same level, by the way. You see level 5,000 and fully boosted. So level 5,000 Super Vegito at 2 stars versus level 5,000 Hero Nail at 14 stars. Checking out their stats, the Nail has 2 million health, which is an additional 100 and some odd thousand more, 122k more than Super Vegito. He's got a 206k strike attack, which is 12,000 more, 12,000 plus 6, 18,000 more than Super Vegito. He's got blast attack, 180k versus 179. So yeah, you can see the trend continues. Defense, all the stats on this Hero Nail at 14 stars are better than Super Vegito, one of the best Legends Limited Units characters in the game up until this point, at 2 stars. So that is how huge all these new plateaus, all these red stars affect characters. Again, what does this mean for the game? Well, it's an equalizing mechanic, you guys. They are making moves to make this game much more similar to traditional fighting games, or something even like Xenoverse, where no matter what character you play as, the playing field is going to be roughly level and even, despite how powerful a character was in the actual series or in the canon. So, could a Cyberman ever take on Perfect Cell? Likely not. But in this game, when you pick them, they're going to be roughly even in terms of stat distribution, or in this case, the 14-star unit is going to be even more powerful than your older, lower-starred unit that might be significantly more rare and cost you a lot of money to get, which is why a lot of people are angry right now or irritated in their confusion and stuff, because like, at face value, it does seem kind of greedy, kind of negative, but there's more to it, you guys. So, what again this means is more like a normal fighting game where the playing field is more evened out. This means that people are going to be able to use whatever teams they roughly want, whatever teams they have in these 7, 14-star characters. They're going to be able to build teams and play competitively despite you having this Super Vegito. So you're going to have people that say, oh, well, the whales are going to have Super Vegito at 14 stars and super buffed. And Where at face value, that is kind of true immediately. There are undoubtedly huge plans from the devs for this game, and where they were kind of trapped in their format, now they have expanded to a whole new way of thinking. I do believe, and this is huge, this is the elephant in the room, that moving forward with a situation like what you're looking at on the screen right here with these stats and these numbers, power creep is going to take a massive spike moving forward in this game, because when new units come out, they're going to roughly have to be competitive with these older 14-star units, or else there's no reason to summon. Only whales and collectors will summon if the units are not competitive. So with all these older units getting buffed, again, power creep is going to be pretty massive for these new units to be able to keep up with the older ones, and that's going to keep ramping the game up. Like, again, it seems like it sucks right now because it's brand new, it's the first day, and everything just kind of changed overnight, and it's not very friendly to people who got lucky and got like one copy of LF Vegeta or one copy of Super Vegito. It's not going to be fair immediately for those people. They're gonna have to default back to using like older teams, older units, stuff they may not want to necessarily use. But in the long run, you guys, this is gonna pay off because they're going to add, they've already said they're going to be adding missions and ways to get Awakening Z power. And I fundamentally believe that the game is going to be more generous with getting this Z power. There's gonna be tons of ways to get it and ways to get around having to necessarily only summon for it once you've acquired the unit. Like, yes, they're going to stack the, you know, the benefits in the favor of summoning, but there are still going to be plenty of ways to grind this out and get these characters that you already own leveled up. So I do think that between power creep and them maybe having, you know, it's almost time for us to potentially start looking at guaranteed sparking pulls on maybe every summon, every banner, or some system of just earning the Z power and you can spend it like those canisters on the units that you already own. There's going to be a lot of ways to reimburse your time for this currency here to level up these units, along with new units being super competitive even at lower stars with this 14-star change. So again, I know it looks like a lot. It's very, very overwhelming at first, but it's really just a redesign of the fundamentals of the game and a rebalancing. And it's definitely going to take a while to get used to, you guys. Not only did they hit us with a level 5,000 cap, but they hit us with this rebalance of all the characters in the game via their new Mastery Star system and Z-Power system. But again, it seems like there's a lot going on, but I do believe that it's going to stabilize and things are going to take a really healthy turn in the future. They've also talked about banners that are going to only be for, you know, summoning characters for the PvE version of the game versus the PvP characters. There's going to be differentiations there. So I do think that things are going to get a little wild. Like, again, I said the shit's off the rails now at this point, and power creep and units and Z power are going to fundamentally have to start showing up in greater quantities and in better quality of new units to keep people wanting to spend money on the game like they were before. So moving forward to the Zenkai system, which is possibly one of the last things we're going to talk about for today, at least in this video. Older units selectively. Again, right now it's only Beerus, the LL Beerus, because he was awful before. The OG Super Saiyan Goku, because he was pretty bad before. Nobody ever used him. He was completely outdated. And similar story with Broly. These are the first three of many of these units that are going to come. So basically what happens is after you get the unit, just bring this up again real quick, after you get the unit to this level 3000, which is now 3000 Z power, which is now 7 stars, they can be Zenkai awakened. And then once you get them, you know, all the way up to 14 stars, they can be fully Zenkai awakened, which if you go into Goku's boost panels, you will see the nodes and all the stuff that they have added for this Zenkai awakening system. It's time intensive, it's expensive in terms of in-game currency, and unless you're in-game rich, it will likely take a reasonable amount of time to get there. But as you can see here, let me move this back on over here, this is what we're looking at with, like, I believe a fully Zenkai'd Super Saiyan Goku, the OG red one. You can see he's got like level 5 out of 5, level 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5. So every node, every soul boost panel is completely maxed out here. So we can see that this level 5000 cap, or at least the soul boosting system, seems to, with the Zenkai, terminated. Like, this system right now is the end game for, you know, these levels on the cards until the next major game development that changes things beyond this. So this system, you can kind of tell it was intended because we've had these levels on these cards and these indicators for a while now. We've had the soul boosting trees with the extra space on top and the big filled out grid with a lot of extra space. So it seems like they've been planning this for a while, you guys. And again, it's going to really open up the game. All these old units that we have 6 and 7 starred, again, there's going to be ways to easily get the Awakening Z power for them. They've said that in the in-game news, be it events that just drop up to 1,000 at a time, or farming, you know, again, the guild currency to get the materials that you can use to add to the Z power. There's going to be ways to do this. And looking at the Goku right here, he is now officially absurd. And I don't have pictures for Broly or Beerus, but I'm sure they were equally crazy here. But once you have him fully maxed out, looking at his stats, and you know, of course we could compare those to the Hero Nail, and yeah, they dwarf the Hero Nail's stats. So this character, at this rate, you know, 14 stars here, is then still a cut above the hero class units. It's just going to take a while to get to this point. But you have 2.5 million health, 250,000 strike attack, almost 300,000 blast attack. You got 167k that defense, 175k. But things really kind of get crazy over here. Super Kamehameha deals major impact damage plus 100% to his own special move arts power for 15 timer counts upon activation. So imagine, for example, you're running Hercule on your team and you get 2 blue cards. You fire them both off within 15 timer counts. The second one is doing 200% special move arts damage. Say you, for some reason, get 3 within 15 timer counts. The third one's going to be doing 300% special move arts damage. It's really crazy, you guys. Again, that's a tight timer window. About 3 is probably the most you'll ever be able to get off. But those are some unheard of numbers in the game from what we've seen so far. Unlock form of attack right here restores own ki by 40 plus 20% to damage inflicted for 20 timer counts. That's extremely strong right there. Super Dragon Fist deals major impact damage, gain a tribute upgrade at minus 100% to enemy sustained damage cut effects for 5 timer counts upon activation. But that's not it right there, because you have this Zenkai ability, innate power, ultimate damage up, plus 80% to ultimate damage inflicted once 40 timer counts have elapsed from battle start. So you gotta wait an extra 15 seconds to use your ult, comparatively speaking, past the 25 timer count. Or what is it, 20 extra seconds, 15, 20. Wait a little bit longer, 80% stack damage. And then I Am Super Saiyan Goku applies the following effects when this character enters the battlefield: restores ki by 40, 20% to damage inflicted for 25 timer counts, and additional 20% to blast damage. It's crazy what this system is going to do for these characters, you guys. And yes, it does seem overwhelming at first. Yes, it does seem kind of intimidating, but this is the direction that the game kind of needed to go in to open up the roster, to open up more options and more team builds and just more diversity and more options again for them in future banners to have more powerful characters and to go in different directions, where a character could come out with a really amazing kit, but even these other characters with their decent kits and their buff stats are going to be competitive. Again, these are just baby steps. This is the first day of a major update to the game, and I do have faith that over time, things are going to evolve into the system that is very beneficial, that is much more generous, where we get to see potentially more units, more higher numbers, more mastery, more everything for us, but they still are going to want to make money. So it's just going to, I think, be just beneficial all the way around. I know there's some naysayers out there, but again, I truly believe that this update, along with the co-op, the guilds, and everything else, are going to really just freshen this game up and bring a lot of new life to it. with that being said, I do have another video coming out. I actually filmed it before this one, so I have less idea of what's going on with the update, but I did like 130 tickets out of my loyalty tickets on that particular banner, and I covered the 4 new units if you include the EX. I covered all that, so keep an eye out for that video. Again, I have less idea of what's going on with the actual game updates, but I pretty standardly cover the new banner, cover some of the updates. I think I do a co-op battle and then do, 130 tickets worth of summons. I still have 200 tickets left, so we can make another summon video, just additional content there. If again, you have any questions about this update, what all this stuff means, definitely let me know down below. This is the dedicated video for explaining Z powers and some of the Zenkai system. I'll have others for the guilds, the co-op battles, some of the other mechanics and stuff like that, you guys. So, with that being said, do the Broly co-op event. That's how you can get the currency to then get the pizzas to train the, the new Beerus Planet training stage and help get your units leveled up a little quicker, you guys. That's the best advice I can instantly give you right now. So I do hope that your confusion is much less than when this video started. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking it, potentially sharing it with other people who may sound confused. Comment down below your thoughts on the update. If you have any questions, again, let me know. And if you're new around here, consider subscribing so I can see you again on future videos. We'll probably have a lot to talk about moving forward in the game, you guys. And that's exciting for me, because I was getting kind of bored of everything just being super samey, and then I ran out of stuff to talk about. So I will let you guys go. Again, I'll have another video coming out extremely soon, probably today with all those summons and stuff. It's like a 40-minute long video, but if you want to watch it, awesome. Otherwise, I do hope you guys have a great day, and I'll definitely be seeing you again soon. Peace out, and yeah, talk to you in a little bit.